Now it's 6. After a 5-year absence, the Glasgow Police Department is set to rejoin the Barron River Drug Task Force. Jake Boswell has details. And members of the Senate are working on legislation to combat the nation's war on drugs. But a bid to add more money to the bill was blocked earlier today in the Senate. Find out what happened, and there's still hope coming up. And a new bill pushing for higher education without the burden of student loan debt is being introduced in Frankfurt. Find out why lawmakers say they have proof the program can work. WBKO at 6 starts now.
From your hometown news leader, this is WBKO at 6, live in HD.
The Barron River Drug Task Force is one step away from adding a new agency in the fight against drugs. Hello, everyone. I'm Michael Squire. Thank you for joining us tonight. As our Jake Boswell reports, the group is focusing on a growing crystal meth problem in the area. This is tonight's top story at 6.
A unanimous vote from the Barron River Drug Task Force's Board of Directors is allowing the Glasgow Police Department to rejoin the group after a more than 5-year hiatus.
One of our goals and objectives for 2016 was to increase our drug arrest by 25%.
The next time the City Council is expected to meet is March 14th. Multiple pursuits in Hopkins County land not 1, not 2, not even 3, but 4 men behind bars. The Hopkins County Sheriff's Office and Madisonville Police Departments received multiple tips of suspected drug activity in the Pine Street area of Nortonville. When units from both stations, along with Kentucky State Police, approached the area, Timothy Good took off in his pickup truck. And as police tried to chase him down, they could see his passenger, Timothy Cunningham, throwing evidence out the window. Both men were arrested and lodged in the Hopkins County Jail. While all this was happening, police were also pursuing Daniel Garcia, who was running from the area on foot. During the chase, Garcia was seen throwing items from his person. Those items were later determined to be syringes, suspected crystal meth, and a plastic bag containing unidentified pills. Garcia was arrested and lodged in the same jail as the other two. A few moments later, a KSP trooper pursued Larry Harvey on foot, who was fleeing down the CSX railroad tracks. Harvey was also arrested, joining the other 3 men in the Hopkins County Jail. A body was found between the Warren County Health Department building and the United Methodist Church on State Street early this morning. The Bowling Green Police Department received a call about an unresponsive person in the space between the 2 buildings. When the EMTs arrived on the scene, they declared the person dead.
When the officers arrived, they did locate a man who appeared to be deceased. EMS workers did confirm that he did not have any signs of life.
The area between the 2 buildings has been cleared, and the officers are working to find the identity of the man. We have a correction to a story we brought you yesterday. We inadvertently said a man known as the Reverend entered a guilty plea to the murder of Gary Gluck. The Reverend had a not guilty plea entered on his behalf. We apologize for that error. On Wednesday, some members of the U.S. Senate voted against a bid to add $600 million in emergency funding to a comprehensive drug bill, money that one senator says could have gone to communities in urgent need. Reporting as part of our Gray Television Network, Kelly Meyer finds out why it was blocked and if there's still hope for help.
Ohio Senator Rob Portman says there's about $80 million already in the legislation, but he wants to add an additional $600 million in funding now. He believes America can't wait any longer to address the issue.
The Republican lawmaker fought on the Senate floor asking for
There's also a companion piece of legislation in the House of Representatives Portman hopes will go through. This week is the deadline for state lawmakers to file bills for the 2016 legislative session. March 1st was the deadline for those in the House. Some of the bills include changing Kentucky's constitution to say only a matrimony between one man and one woman shall be valid or recognized as a matrimony in Kentucky, along with a bill to make it illegal for anyone but a licensed veterinarian to declaw a cat. Other would make it illegal for your boss to fire you for saying Merry Christmas. Tomorrow is the deadline for the bills to be filed in the Senate. Today on our poll, we're asking, do you think it should be possible for a business to be sued for promoting Christmas? To vote, go to WBKO.com and then watch us at 10 for those results. The Senate Education Committee approves a compromise version of the school calendar bill. The original bill set a statewide mandate that schools couldn't start earlier than the Monday closest to August 26th. Bill sponsor Senator Chris Girdler says early start dates are hurting tourism. The changed version creates a committee in each district that would make suggestions to the school board. Girdler said it preserves local control. Do you know which powers only the federal government has, or who was president during the Great Depression and World War II? These are the type of questions Kentucky high school students will have to answer to graduate, if a new Senate bill becomes law, that is. The civics test bill would require students to correctly answer 60 out of 100 questions to pass, meaning not failing. The Kentucky Department of Education would have to create the test based on the U.S. citizenship test. The bill passed the Senate Education Committee this morning in Frankfort. A bill introduced Tuesday would provide free tuition for eligible high school graduates. Kentucky House leaders and school officials gathered at the Capitol building in Frankfort this morning for a news conference to discuss the bill. The Work Ready Kentucky Scholarship Program still has to be heard in committee, but after which it will begin to move through the House and the Senate. The legislation would provide free tuition for graduating high school students attending Kentucky's community and technical colleges, after taking federal aid into account. It's geared towards middle-income students whose parents' incomes are too high to qualify for many federal scholarships. The idea comes from a program out of Tennessee called Tennessee Promise.
We modeled after that because it's been fairly successful down there, and we wanted to model after something that we thought was successful. We're trying to get students right out of high school, get them educated, get them in the workforce as soon as possible.
If passed, the program will cost about $13 million for the first year and about $20 million after that. The money would come from the general fund. Kentucky Republicans are 2 days away from their presidential caucus. It takes place from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday in more than 100 locations across the state. Republicans will still vote by ballot, but can gather information and promote a candidate at the location, unlike a primary where that is prohibited. Democrats will vote for president in the May primary. Some additional information for you caucus goers: you must have registered as a Republican by December 31st, 2015 to be eligible to even cast a vote. This is the only time for Republicans to cast their vote in the presidential nomination process. Republican primaries for local, state, and congressional races will still take place in May. You also have to have an ID to be able to participate in the caucus. Most counties just have one caucus location, so be sure to check out the caucus story through our app or WBKO.com. Next on WBKO at 6, only two things in life are certain: death and taxes. Coming up, our Whitney Davis has the changes you need to know about before filing this year. That story in just 2 minutes.